Korea is witnessing a landmark moment in its fight for justice. For the first time, more than 100 South Korean women have officially sued the United States military, accusing it of forcing them into prostitution between the 1950s and 1980s. Their demand: an apology and accountability. Historians estimate tens of thousands of women were pushed into state-sanctioned brothels during that period, serving US soldiers stationed in the country to guard against North Korea. Back in 2022, South Korea's Supreme Court acknowledged the government's illegal role in running these brothels, ordering compensation to over 100 women. But now, in a bold move, the survivors are pointing their fingers directly at the US military. The lawsuit seeks about 10 million won each, roughly $7,200 in damages, and more importantly, recognition of the suffering these women endured. And their testimonies are harrowing. One woman recalls being only 17 when she was tricked with the promise of a bartender job, only to be forced into sex work. She remembers soldiers slapping her for not smiling, beating her without reason, and being subjected to humiliating medical checks every week. Another survivor describes being nearly strangled to death by a soldier. In a powerful joint statement, women's rights activists backing the lawsuit accused the US military of ignoring South Korea's constitution, stripping women of their freedom and destroying their lives. The victims say they were treated as commodities, handed over to American soldiers in exchange for dollars. And now, in their 60s and 70s, they want answers. As one woman wrote in a handwritten statement, "Why did we have to suffer such things? I want an explanation before I die. I also want an apology." The United States Forces Korea, which still has nearly 28,000 troops stationed in the country, has not responded to these allegations. But for these survivors, this lawsuit is more than just about money. It's about truth, it's about dignity, and it's about finally being heard, decades after their lives were stolen. With Shaurik Shah, Bureau Report, India Today Global.